This is a photo which appeared in the Daily Mail. It's a very convenient photo because it shows the alleged victim, the little boy who was very sadly killed. His sister was very badly injured. The alleged bomber and the rucksack, the offending rucksack, all conveniently in one photo. And what I want to say about this is that there are obvious signs that this picture, this image, has been photoshopped. Now, we don't know obviously whether the Daily Mail was handed this picture and was simply incompetent in not realizing that it had been photoshopped. So I'm just going to show you why I think this was photoshopped. Now, that's the rucksack as it's shown, and here we have a picture of the rucksack as worn by the alleged bomber. That's the younger brother. And I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the magnetic lasso tool here on Photoshop, and I'm not going to do it very well, but I'm just going to go around this rucksack and take a picture of it. Right, there it is. Right click, select inverse, delete. I'm now going to crop it. Oops, I think it's locked. I'm going to crop it here, and because I tried this earlier, I'm going to use the eraser tool just on this bit of it here, because I found that when I used the magic eraser it leaked. So I'm going to try the magic eraser now to save time, and there we have. Now, that is not particularly well done, but you can see the effect. This checkered effect here is the transparency. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to this picture, and I'm going to drag the rucksack on here. And if I move it here, you can see next to the rucksack as it's shown. Now you can see quite clearly that this is not the same rucksack. That one is black with a white trim, and this one is white with a black trim. And there's a very big difference in everything about these rucksacks. So it's quite obvious that they photoshopped a rucksack onto this. And there's more evidence as well. If you go into this here, you can see I think that's a zip here, a white lining of the rucksack, and it goes through the rail, which would not actually happen in a true photo. I don't think so anyway. If you look at this here, you can see evidence of the rail is much smaller, and I'm going to try and show you how that happens, because the way they would have photoshopped this, they would have put this here, and then they would have taken, in the same way as I took the picture of the rucksack, they would have taken the leg of this woman here and the leg of this woman here, and because Photoshop is based on a layer system, so the rucksack would be at the back, the two legs would be in front of the rucksack, and then what they would do is they would use the clone tool in order to clone the railings. Now, cloning is very, very difficult to do. I'm going to try and show you that. You can see here how the rail becomes much, much narrower. If you look at these rails, they're straight, and the problem is that when you clone, it's quite a clever tool, but you can see signs of it. At least when I do it, you can. I'm not claiming to be a Photoshop expert, by the way. I'm sure there are people who are, more knowledgeable about Photoshop than I am, but this is how I would do it, certainly, and I think that people who've done this are not as good as I am at Photoshop. They've actually made a terrible mess of it. It's very, very obvious. And there are other signs of photoshopping on this photo, which I'm not going to deal with now. But I'm just going to show you the clone tool, because this has come up before. It came up in the picture of the 7-7 bombers, where you had somebody who was distorted, half their body was inside a rail and half out. I've shown it in another video, and they explained that by saying there were mirrors on the wall. Well, you know, or a glass partition behind that had caused an optical effect. Well, okay, give them the benefit of the doubt on that, but it does seem as though this business of cloning rails is causing some of the deception to become apparent. This is what you do to clone a rail. I'm just going to clone this one upwards. I'm going to take a photo of it now by holding down Alt, and I drag my mouse along here like this. I'm just going to clone upwards. Oops, it didn't work. Right, try again. Still hasn't worked. Hang on, try again here. I am on Alt, aren't I? I'm not on the right layer. Sorry. That's it. There. And it's going upwards. Can you see? I'll do this one. It's very difficult to keep it in line, and there's a bit of leakage of colour as well. Can you see? If I went over it enough, I might. You see, this is really badly done now. But if you take enough time, if I could clone that, for example, you can see the effect. You really need a lot of patience to do it, but I have found it quite difficult to clone railings myself, and so I know when I recognise when I see a photoshopped rail here. Does any of this matter? Well, I'm not the only one to have found inconsistencies in the official narrative, and it appears to me, in fact, that the official story is unravelling day by day. Terrorism is evil, but so is trial by media, and so are false flag operations.